All right. So, right? So everybody who is working a job right now, everybody has two objectives to meet, right? And these two objectives, right? These two objectives are the difference between your current lifestyle and your future lifestyle, right? Two objectives, right? So, let's talk about your current lifestyle real quick, right? Your current lifestyle is paid for by your labor, right? That means you eat what you kill, right? If you don't work, you don't eat. No work means no money, right? So that means if you are in that situation, that means that you are trading your time for money. You're trading your time for a paycheck, right? And that's beautiful, right? You could have a job paying you $1 million. Absolutely. It's great, right? But when the paycheck stops, so does everything else, right? And so uh so we all plan on living long, right? And living strong. We don't plan on getting sick, we don't plan on getting injured, we don't plan on any of that happening, right? But the fact of the matter is it does happen, right? And when you get put in that situation, that's when a lot of people fall into dire straits, right? Because they don't have a backup plan, right? And so look, it's beautiful. It's beautiful that your labor pays for your life, right? However, you have a future lifestyle that you want to live in as well. And so your future lifestyle is supposed to be paid for by your investments, right? And for a lot of people, that's 401ks, that's stocks, that's bonds, whatever you're doing. Your investments, your investments is what's going to pay for your future lifestyle when you're not working anymore, when you don't want to labor anymore, right? When you don't have the ability to labor anymore, right? So your money, your investment is going to create the situation where your money works while you sleep. Your money works for you. Your money is the greatest employer that you could ever have because it doesn't stop working, right? Now, I don't know if that, defines any or, defies any labor laws or anything like that. I got to Google that. But the fact of the matter is, your money is your best employee, right? And this is the lifestyle that true financial freedom exists within, right? And true financial freedom enables, right? So we understand our current lifestyle and our future lifestyle. The fact of the matter is, what are we doing to have those two lifestyles meet each other, right? And a lot of us have those two objectives, but the majority of us have four obstacles that keep us from meeting or keep those two objectives from meeting, right? And so we used to have two vehicles designed to bridge these two objectives, right? So that's Social Security, right? Social Security, which the government now warns may not be available to the younger generations when it's time to collect, right? And pensions, right, which most companies used to offer but no longer offer. Those companies took pensions and said, we don't want to pay these people through retirement, so we are going to set up a 401k for them so that they can live off the 401k. But the fact of the matter is, the 401k can be very limiting, and it doesn't leave any obligation on the company that you just labor for 40 years. And that's a problem. So with these safety nets disappearing, every one of us must take personal responsibility for creating wealth, right? Your wealth is not going to be created by anyone other than yourself anymore, right? And so for that gap that exists between the current and future lifestyle, let's delve into four obstacles that keep those two from actually meeting each other. So we have four obstacles, right? Four obstacles draining your wealth. Absolutely. Right? And so the first obstacle is something we like to call inflation, right? So the price of goods and services continues to rise every day, while your wages remain stagnant, right? So the price of everything in your life is going up, but your wealth, your income is staying the same, right? And incrementally rising, but for the most part and for most people, that rise isn't faster than the rise of prices for the goods and services that they use every day, right? So, so your dollar actually buys less every single year, silently eroding your purchasing power. And if you want to see that, just go to your grocery store, go to your nearest grocery store, right? $20 10 years ago used to be able to get you 3 bags of groceries. Now, $20 will get you maybe 3 items. And that's crazy because we've lived through that, right? And we haven't really examined that, but it's a reality for the majority of us, right? So after inflation eats about a third of your wealth. After that comes taxes, right? So this is where you lose the first third of your income, right? That's taken before you even see it, before you ever see it, right? Often because withholdings are filled out incorrectly, and because you don't own a business, right? You don't have anything to write off against your taxable income, and we're going to delve further into that taxable income as we move along. So, so employees are taxed first, and then they spend second, right? Employees are taxed first before they even see their money, and then they have the opportunity to spend the money after being taxed. Business owners spend on their business expenses first, and then they pay taxes second. So that's a totally different reality, right? So you get your paycheck, you get taxed, and now you can buy the things in your life. A business owner gets all of their money up front, spends all the money that they need to on their business, and then when they're done with that, then they have to pay taxes, right? And so those two realities cause drastically different results, right? After the taxes take a third of your money, then comes debt. Why debt? Because you get in debt because you paid so much in taxes that you don't have the money that you thought you were going to have. So just real quick. So, all of us working a job, we have a gross income and a net income, right? So your gross income is what everybody asks for when you go to get an apartment, when you go to get a car, when you go to get the things that you want in life. Everybody asks what's your gross income. Nobody asks what's your net income. They don't really care about what your net income is. They're going off of the gross. But the net income is the money that you actually have uh, access to, right? And so, for most people, to meet the needs of your gross income, most people get in debt. They get credit cards, they take loans um, to be able to push them up to the position where they can actually meet the needs of their gross income, right? And so the debt that we create for ourselves is not because we just like shopping, right? Most of our debt is created to fill in that blank between our gross income and our net income. So we're going to tap into that too, right? So lastly, after all that is taken, then you have big business, right? Because you have a holiday every month of the year, a new opportunity for you to spend your hard-earned money, right? You got Christmas, you got New Year's, you got Valentine's Day, you got St. Patrick's Day, you got Easter, you got Mother's Day, then you got Father's Day, then you got Independence Day, then you got back to school, then you got Labor Day, then you got Halloween, then you got Thanksgiving, then you got Christmas, and then you got birthdays in between all of those, right? So there's always an opportunity for big business to get inside of your pockets, right? And so, because we understand those four obstacles, there has to be some kind of solution to those, right? And so, we want to tap into the solutions. Yeah, so so we want to tap into the solutions, right? So, throughout this entire course, we are going to be explaining everything that we drew up so far, right? And we're going to walk you hand by hand through the ability, through the ability and the capability of one person to be able. Oh, nice. So yeah, so through this program, we're gonna walk you hand by hand through how to become a millionaire from a minimum wage worker. And that seems unreasonable, that seems unrealistic, but we're gonna show you exactly how you can go from making $15 an hour, making $10 an hour, whatever you're making, how you can actually be able to take the money that you are giving away in taxes and be able to use that money to build a business and invest and become a millionaire in a allotted period of time. And that's becoming a millionaire strictly off of the tax money. That's not looking at any other money that you can add to that pot to speed up that process. But we are going to take you, like I said, hand by hand through the steps, and we're going to make it happen. So let's get it going.